days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback podcast time. Welcome to the show, everyone. What a spectacular game that was. All of the highs, all of the lows, everything that you could possibly think of felt like happened in that game. The ultimate roller coaster ride. And guess what? The 49ers found a way. Pivotal offense, special teams coming through, and of course, the defense getting to stop when they absolutely had to have it. How good does it feel to be a 49er fan right now? 3-0 in the division, 4-1 overall. Mac Jones has continued to battle and play well, and the 49ers are winning games with their backup quarterback. And let's be honest, they won this game without their top 3 wide receivers, and it didn't matter because Kendrick Bourne went ham in this game. I mean, we've got to give a lot of credit to Kendrick Bourne and what he was able to do after last week. He comes back 10 catches for 142 yards, and it was just spectacular. McCaffrey, 8 for 82. He does this every single week. Jake Hodges, 7 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. It was just phenomenal to see these guys play. I mean, absolutely fantastic stuff. And the chat is going crazy. I want to make sure I give credit to everyone that's in chat. Thanks so much for joining. You know, David Marazzo says, Alfred Collins game-saving play at the 1-yard line. Love it. Go Niners. What a punch-out. I mean, Alfred Collins is getting a lot more playing time than I think they were ever expecting. Kalia Davis goes down with an injury to his hand. He's out for the game. Alfred Collins, CJ West, guess what? CJ West, you just had thumb surgery. It don't matter. You're out there and you're playing. And the 49ers were beat up along that defensive line. And they were getting pushed around a little bit. When push came to shove, Alfred Collins made a huge play on Kyren Williams to knock the ball out. And then they helped make a huge stop on 4th and 1 in overtime. So Alfred Collins, absolutely. And how about, the impact of Fred Warner? Because we know that Fred is the one that creates that culture of getting the ball out. And it was the 49ers in this game that were the ones winning the turnover battle. It absolutely had to happen. And they got it done. You weren't going to win this game if you didn't win the turnover battle, and they did exactly that. They had 2 turnovers, both of them fumbles on the Rams' behalf. And the Rams had both of them happen inside the red zone. It was pivotal. The 49ers' time of possession, more than 14 minutes more than the Los Angeles Rams. It was one of those games where the 49ers played as well as they possibly could with the pieces that they had. It wasn't perfect, but they were able to get it done, and that's ultimately all you have to do. And this game was so much more important than the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Every game's important, but that was a non-conference against a non-divisional opponent against Jacksonville, and they played bad. The Niners did. In this one, it was a different story. They came out slinging the ball. Mac Jones came out on fire, and it didn't matter when they had penalties. They were able to overcome. Kendrick Bourne, big catch underneath, boom, first down, right? Penalty, get it to Jake Tunges, big play. Jake Tunges in the red zone. 49ers, what did we talk about? You got to be good in the red zone. 49ers weren't perfect on third down in this game. They weren't 50%. They were 7 of 18, but they were perfect on 4th down, which is hugely pivotal in this football game. Once again, red zone, still not completely getting it done. 2 of 5, Rams 3 of 5. So there are still things that they're not really perfect on, but boy, was this fun. 49ers got a big win in this one. And I love this from Uncle Leb. Deep breath, unclench, repeat. That's how we're feeling. And I love this from David V. Hashtag TCC LFG. Let's freaking go. Same thing from GC. Let's freaking go. I love to see everyone in here. Mr. BKB says yes. And then I love this from David Campbell. He says, did I say Bourne sucked last week? Yes, you did, David. I felt your rant. I think we were all feeling a little bit frustrated, but guess what? Kendrick Bourne was playing his butt off in this game. This is exactly what everyone was hoping for. I love this. From Generic Generic Eric says, prayer works, right? I mean, I think everyone knew it was going to take a lot for the 49ers to be able to beat the Rams. The Rams are still a really good football team. You look at that talent along the front line, they were tough. They gave the 49ers offensive line everything they could handle. They're not going away. But guess what? The good news is, and we got a lot of respect for the Rams and their coaching staff and their players, the 49ers were able to beat a really good football team. That Rams team could have easily been undefeated coming into this game without, a big collapse against Philly. So this is a good team, one of the better teams in the NFC. And the 49ers showed up and they showed out. And they stood on business and they got it done. And that's what you have to hope for. And Texas Tio, a.k.a. Tio Roberto, says Collins MVP. You had to have the play. And then you get that moment. 49ers are backed up. And you're going to have one of these moments where Kyle Shanahan is going to be in the crosshairs. If the 49ers lose this game, he was going to be in the crosshairs for third down and running the ball with Christian McCaffrey and not trying to go for the win. And the good news is it worked out. And so now it's a non-story. But trust me, that was going to be very something. And I want to get to the rest of this, but I want to say please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Listening audio platform, 49ers Cutback on Believe Network. Please give it a 5-star rating if you feel like I deserve it. And, of course, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And Lou's in the house, and Lou says, Ant, how about those Niners? Gutsy performance. I think that's the only way that you can describe it. You've got your back against the wall. You've got guys that are playing on this football team that we never expected to play, and they're making plays. Tevis Gibson ends up on a fumble on the first drive that the Rams are in the red zone, and he gets the ball. This is a guy that just came up, is elevated from the practice squad. Now, we all know that he did pretty well in preseason, but he's having to make a play. Alfred Collins getting a strip and then recovers the ball himself. How big of a play? Chase Lucas, watch that 4th and 1 in overtime. Fred Warner and Chase Lucas are the guys who stop the initial momentum of Kyron Williams. And then here comes, everyone, the cavalry, Marquis Siegel, everybody, John Renor come flying in. I love it. They sold out and they got it done. And, David Campbell saying what I think a lot of people are going to be talking about. Lots of teams wondering why they didn't give Mac Jones a shot. And here's something that Kyle Shanahan is getting known for now, is going and taking a reclamation project and getting something out of them. And they didn't need Sam Darnold in 2023. He didn't have to play. But everyone respected the fact that he was going to be better playing for Kyle Shanahan, and he turned that into a really good opportunity in Minnesota and even a better opportunity with the Seattle Seahawks. And Mac Jones signed a 2-year deal. The 49ers got control of Mac Jones for next year, too. And what a luxury. You don't have to worry about Brock Purdy going down. You have Mac Jones. And if you get a good enough offer for Mac Jones, and not this year. Nope, not this year. Anyone that says trade Mac Jones right now, no. You have a perfect opportunity to let Mac Jones roll until Brock Purdy's fully healthy. And then you can make a decision in the offseason. But make no mistake, Mac Jones is in play next year to potentially get the 49ers a lot back. So, yes, a lot of people are shooting themselves right now, wishing that they would have had Mac Jones. That is for sure. Mr. Corey's in the house. What's up, Mr. Corey? I love the fact Shanahan abandoned the run and just threw. And, that was one of the things that I said going into this. If you watch my game preview show, and, I know it was a tough week, so, a lot of people probably didn't watch it. But literally, my number one offensive key matchup, 49ers first and second down success, run or pass, doesn't matter. Mac Jones, take what the defense gives from check downs to deep throws. Boom. That's exactly what he did. Don't care who you're throwing to. He didn't. He just did what he was supposed to do. Absolutely love it. So it was huge. And, I do like that you just took what was there and took what it was getting down. And then David Campbell says, was that Jake Moody kicking for the Rams? It wasn't, but this is one of those struggles with kickers sometimes. And, they always say football is a game of inches. Is it ever more apparent Then the Eddie Pinheiro overtime field goal attempt. It literally grazes the upright and goes through. It was the ball bounced the right way for the Niners, and it didn't always, right? I mean, the Rams got some bounces in their direction. That punt that nearly went out of bounds and then went down to the 2-yard line, like they had effective things in their behalf as well. But when it came down to it, it got it done. And, this from Rod Montana says, my favorite new gun, Mac 10. Mac was getting it done, man. I love that it's one of those things that you have to have is a backup quarterback that can be effective. And Mac Jones, in his three starts, he's been effective. They have been able to win with Mac Jones, and his numbers were good today. I mean, just looking at what he was able to do for the San Francisco 49ers, he had to throw it a lot. Of course, he went to overtime, but 33 of 49 for 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, only a 7-yard average. He was just taking what they gave him. I said it during the week. Be a check down merchant. It doesn't matter. Take what the defense is giving you until they change. And he did. And he was very effective. And that's why the 49ers only gave up 1 sack in this game as well. Now, Mac got hit, and he got hit a lot. And the dude's a tough dude. I mean, we got to give him credit. He was gutting it out for this football team. But, I mean, really good game for him. 49ers didn't get their run game going again, but they did run it 33 times. Brian Robinson only had 5 for 12. It wasn't effective. There's going to be questions. We're going to have plenty to talk about this week, and it's going to be a long preparation for the next game. So there's going to be a lot to talk about, and they've got to still figure out left guard. This is not without, like, everything's not magically okay because the 49ers won. There's definitely things that have to be cleaned up, but they have time to do it. And they've got to continue to figure out this run game because McCaffrey only averaged 2.6 yards per carry. Brian Robinson, 2.4 yards per carry. Like, that's not effective. We still see moments where it's a little bit better, but they've definitely got to get it a lot better. And Key says, you called it, and woo, go Niners. Yeah, I had the Niners by 3. I did think it was going to be 20-17, so a little bit more scoring. Of course, overtime, you get the 26-23. I did think it was going to be a 3-point game. I kind of said, hey, if you call me a homer, I'll take it. But I was in on this, and I was happy. Also, one of my Wild Ass Bowl predictions was Jake Dungus getting a touchdown. He got it done. And I love this from Hugo G. Get your popcorn ready. Yeah, it's popcorn time, man. It's popcorn time because they did it. And they just completely gutted it out. Right here, Mark Gravy Graves says, guttiest win by the walking wounded 49ers. And I think now you have to look at this team and you have to say to yourself, no matter what situation they're in it. Because all 5 games that they've played this season, they've found a way to be in it at the end. Whether it was turning the ball over 4 times against the Jacksonville Jaguars, they were still on a drive that would have put them ahead if they could have scored a touchdown. Being in the mix says something about the moxie of your football team, and I think this team has it. They have something different. That defense has a different feel, even though they couldn't generate enough pass rush, and that's something they're going to have to talk about. Etor Gross-Matos goes down. Kalia Davis goes down. You are the walking wounded, just as Mark said. But the San Francisco 49ers are finding ways, and I think a lot of it, you lean into Robert Saleh. And, and then you got to give Brant Boyer some credit too. The special teams 100% needed to bounce back. And they did. Jordan Elliott blocked an extra point, which can never be ignored as one of the biggest plays in this game. If the Rams go up 21-20, they win this game in regulation with that field goal. Like, things would have changed big. But the special teams came through in that moment. And how big was that? They needed it just at the right time. But, yeah, you're right. Guttiest performance that we've seen from a 49ers team. I love it. I love the fact that, they're just going out there and just, they don't care what's going on. They pull up their bootstraps. They go get it done. And love to see it. And, Mr. Corey says it. Now it's time to go trade for a pass rusher. I think it's now a conversation point. You are 4-1. You're 3-0 in the division. You have ran through the NFC West, and you've been able to. It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't. A 4-point win over Seattle, a a 1-point win over the Cardinals and a 3-point win over the Rams, but you're 3-0. And I think at that point, you're in the mix, not just for playoffs, you're in the mix to win the division. So absolutely, if the right guy comes along that you can grab as far as an edge rusher, you think about it. 49ers had to cut, a defensive lineman today, Jordan Jefferson, who they had claimed on waivers, who played his first game last week because they had to bring Adrian Martinez up from the practice squad. They had to make a move. They could have used Jordan Jefferson today. So now they've got to figure some things out. They still have Evan Anderson on the practice squad, so there's some things that they can do. And thank you so much for the subscription, Wi-Fi. I really appreciate it. There are so many things that this team can still do to get better. But I think absolutely, and I said this from the beginning when they lost Nick Bosa, the next 2 weeks were going to determine what they thought they had to do. And the truth is, Robert Beal's hurt. Etor Gross-Matos is hurt. You're probably going to need another edge defender. They are in the mix. So be on the lookout. Let's see what's out there. And let's see. And I think that, that it's something that the 49ers could definitely do. And, David Campbell's echoing that. Lynch needs to find a pass rusher, even if they'd pay with draft capital. Now that you feel like you're in the mix, because you beat one of the best teams in the NFC, if you come back in 10 days and you beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're one of the best teams in the NFC. And you might be already, even though you are the walking wounded. No Brandon Ayuk, no Juwan Jennings, no Ricky Pearsall, no Brock Purdy, no George Kittle, no Nick Bosa. And you find a way to win. Those are the types of gutsy wins that get you ahead of schedule. So absolutely, I think you're in, and like it's not all good, right? Because I got this from Mr. Corey, and he's not wrong. Connor Kobe was so bad, and I'm not going to say so bad because I always like to watch the film and see what's going on. But I do know if you were getting yelled at by the All-Pro left tackle, you're doing something wrong. And I think Connor Kobe, he's just having to play ahead of schedule. They never expected Connor Kobe to have to be getting starting reps in the NFL. And he's struggling. And we knew this was going to be a tough one. Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, these are bad matchups for Connor Kobe, at least in year one. And so they have to figure something out. They're still a couple weeks away, potentially, from getting Ben Barch back. Spencer Burford, it's at least 3 weeks. They don't have an answer right now. Drew Moss, I don't think he's the answer. On their current roster, there's no answer at left guard. So it's either Connor Kobe has to get better or they've got to find something else. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if there's a left guard that you can trade for. I don't know if the 49ers would actually pick up the phone and call John Feliciano. I don't know. But I do think that is a question mark. And Mark says, how many penalties on McKivitz? Yeah, the first one was very unfortunate. So Mac Jones rolled to the right. McKivitz was in perfect position. He's not expecting Mac Jones to roll out, so he doesn't know to let go. And so when the defender starts pulling away, he gets the penalty. He also had a false start, I think, as well. So the first one, I understand, right? It's a circumstance. The rule is, right, you feel that guy pulling away, like you let go because he's moving horizontal. But, I mean, he was in perfect condition. And Colt McKivitz has been a very good player. I did see a couple plays. I seen him miss a block in this one on a 3rd and 1, and Landman came down. And I know Kirk Herbstreit was trying to, blame other people and just give, it was Landman. Yeah, Colt McKivitz missed him, and that happens. And it's frustrating. It's unfortunate, but he's played pretty good. So I give him some leeway because he has played very good. And Mr. Corey says maybe the Vikings will trade us Jordan Mason. I will say this, Mr. Corey. I don't care who's running back, minus Barry Sanders. Nobody is going off and getting a lot of yards. The only guy I think could do it is Barry Sanders because that guy could make 20 dudes miss at the line of scrimmage. He was insane. I just don't think that. And it's not McCaffrey. Did you see that swing pass in overtime, getting him out there with Kyle Juszczyk? He still can make people miss in the open space. So they just need to get a hole. They need to get some things together for McCaffrey to really get this run game going. And we're seeing 2 running backs in Christian McCaffrey and Brian Robinson who have been very effective runners in the NFL. McCaffrey, a special runner, just not being able to find space. George Kittle is going to help with that. But a left guard is also going to help with that. It's going to help this offense, reach the level it is. And maybe it's Connor Kobe, but he's definitely not there yet, and that's it, and so you just got to keep. I love this from Uncle Leb, the stats for Mac Jones: 33 of 49, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 11 bananas eaten. 100% with the bananas. Like, that dude was having cramp problems, struggling. And Raymond Torres says defense came through in the end. They did. And you know what? It was not easy. I mean, Matthew Stafford had himself a game. If you look at Matthew Stafford's numbers, right? He had 17 incompletions, which is a lot. But he threw it 30 of 47 for 389 yards and 3 touchdowns. No interceptions, no turnovers. A rating of 111. Like, Matthew Stafford was effective. Now, saying that, the 49ers did what I knew they had to do. They had to hold the Los Angeles Rams running attack in check. The Rams only ran the ball 16 times. Kyren Williams of 14 of 65. It wasn't bad, but it was the fact that they held them down, which was extremely huge. The 49ers won the time of possession. That was going to be important. And so you see the ways the 49ers found a way to win, and that was one of them. Puka Nacua got his yards. Devontae Adams got his yards. You knew it was going to happen. It's just you had to like weather storms. And when it came down to it, the 49ers had just enough to hold them off. And that was a freaking great game. Great game. I was very, very excited about it. I love this from GC. What a difference Saleh makes. We could easily be 1-4. Instead, we're 4-1. And that's it. Coaching matters. And Robert Saleh has made an impact on this team. And you see it during the game. He literally tried to manufacture pressure, right? There was that drive, and the Rams ended up scoring rather quickly because there was some matchups because of the blitzes that didn't work out for the 49ers. But he was trying to generate pressure. Just like we talked about during the week, Jason Pennick is going to blitz. Upton Stout was going to blitz. You were going to see D. Winters blitz and Fred Warner. They were going to generate and manufacture pressure. Now, Matthew Stafford is the number 1 quarterback in the league getting rid of the football because he can decipher blitzes and coverage changes and where it's rolling over better than anyone. And he was astute at that today. The problem is the 49ers had just enough when it came to offense early in this game to get things going. I mean, how big was the last drive of the first half for the 49ers? They end with an Eddie Pinheiro field goal. And the reason I say that is the Rams had just cut it to a 7-point game. And the 49ers go down and kick that field goal. And momentum-wise, that's huge because the Rams are going to get it coming out. If the Rams can go 2 for 1, they might tie it up and then never look back. So there were some pivotal things for this 49ers team as well. And so I just think that they continue to work on some things, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And, Mr. Corey's right. Connor Kobe has a groin injury. So take that into account. I don't want to diminish his injury. I never diminished Dominic Pooney's either. Kirk Herbstreit talked about Trent Williams is starting to get more healthy. And so, I forget week 1, he got the knee injury. We talked about that on the OG show over on Patreon with me and Horst, as he was talking about the injury to Trent Williams and he thinks it's affecting him. It's probably affecting Connor Kobe. Dominic Pooney's playing through a knee injury. Really, the only healthy guys are Jake Brendel and Colton McKivitz. And, I know a lot of people were upset, but the stats came out. PFF has them ranked like 5th or 6th best offensive line in the league. And so you get one of those, and 49ers Classic says the 49ers are playing zombie football. Yeah, I mean, they've basically been left for dead, but they find a way. And what a time. It's October, right? Spooky things happen. Love to see it. So it's a thing that's going to be a conversation, and I think that we're going to see a lot of cool things from this football team this week because there's going to be more time to talk about 49ers. And I love this from Reese. It says #TCC LFG. What a great game. And it was. This week is going to be so fun to look at how the 49ers did it because they found different ways to win in every single win this year, right? Seattle, it was going in there and finding a way to win at the end. Mac Jones and that offense in week 2 against New Orleans and holding them off at the end. And then in week 3 against Arizona, it was kicking the field goal, the rise of Eddie Pinheiro. And Eddie Pinheiro is so big because I really did believe that Eddie Pinheiro's kind of his long range was going to be 55 yards. When Kyle Shanahan rolled him out there for 59-yard field goal to go up 23-20, I didn't think he had the leg. He absolutely drilled that football. And not only did he drill it, he's good for 60 plus. So you're not missing what I thought you were missing by not having Jake Moody, which was the distance. I knew it was going to be more accurate, but now you're not even losing the distance. That is huge. And you can see Kyle Shanahan was fired up because if Eddie Pinheiro can hit from 55 plus, the 49ers are going to score a lot of points. And what the confidence. I love it. And, I love this as well from SR money sign 2001 ? I don't know exactly what that is. Hopefully I got it right. Coaching, culture, and character. That's it. Coaching, culture, character. That's the kind of win that was. 100%. It was well said. Fantastic. And he also said, 49ers, just stay the course. Be faithful, and this year can be special. It can. And you know what? That was one of the things that was tough this week. That Jaguars win last week was so frustrating because you knew without the turnovers, the 49ers could win. And so that's what really did. And so I love it. And Reese says this, what about KB? What a game for him. So big, way to step up. Especially after last week. Kendrick Bourne struggled, and it was just everything didn't work out for him. And it really didn't work out for the 49ers last week. Just what could go wrong went wrong. And this week it was the opposite. They're the ones who played clean football. And that is what you have to do if you're going to win in the NFL. Play clean football. 49ers were -5 turnover differential. The Rams were +3. Well, guess what? After this one, 49ers won this game being +2 in turnover differential. It was everything they needed. They needed the Rams to create or to have some giveaways, but really the 49ers had takeaways too. Rams gave one away, right? Blake Corum dropped the ball. The other one, Alfred Collins, caused the turnover 100%. So, yeah, you got to have those turnovers. And Joseph says, what a game. Niners exceed expectations. Yes, I think that they did exceed expectations. I did pick the 49ers to win by 3. 100%. I just thought that they were in it. I have faith in Mac Jones, but I have faith in the coaching staff. And it's not limited to just Robert Saleh. Like, I have a lot of faith in Saleh, but I have a ton of faith in Kyle Shanahan, and I have a ton of faith in Brant Boyer. And Brant Boyer's special teams was terrible last week. They were. They helped blow that game, but they made plays this week. And that's why it's about consistency. And that's why the roller coaster like this of a season, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You just got to stay there. And it's tough, and Joseph also says blocked extra points was crucial. Yes. And Reese is right. Should have gotten first and goal after the full weight sack on third. 100%. But, there's penalties that go both ways, right? And I didn't notice it live, but they definitely talked about it. So, yeah, I mean, those things happen, right? Referee calls are going to go one way or the other. I thought the 49ers had a lot of penalties in this game. What did it end up being? 8, I think. 49ers definitely weren't playing a clean game, especially with this referee crew. I've seen a lot of defensive penalties. I thought the defensive hands to the face were a little bit outrageous because they didn't look like they happened, but 8 for 44, Rams 5 for 36. So when it comes to yardage, it really wasn't that much difference. I thought that the 49ers also got away with one, right, where they grabbed Stafford's helmet. So it ends up balancing out. Sometimes it does. It's frustrating to watch, though. I'll give you that. Refs sometimes make things definitely frustrating to watch, but it was good. Overall, it was the 49ers took shots and were able to overcome them. And so I think it's great. And Mr. Corey says this. Yeah, I never liked the Pooney criticism. He was questionable for week 1 and still hasn't missed a game. Yeah, I think he's been playing through some. I think Trent Williams and Dominic Pooney, and it was a perfect. I'm so glad it got brought up in chat. And Connor Colby they all been playing with things, right? Kobe was listed as questionable until this week. And so you're right. We got to remember that. I do think Connor Kobe, some of it, the reason I talk about it is it's not just, some of the things he does as far as skill, some of it's skill too, him kind of getting mixed up. Those things don't play into it, but 100% agree with that. And so I like this too. Dinero for Panero in 2026. Right? How about the teams? He was waiting. He was waiting on the 49ers. And, Diamond, I did bring this up earlier. And, I said this was going to be a real problem if the 49ers didn't win. Said, can we aggressive play calling from Shanahan for a whole season, please? He was calling a whole different game early. And this is one of the things people want. There was a 4th down, right? When Mac didn't get the first at their own 30, and he went for it. Crazy, right? And there was the other time they didn't throw inside the red zone or, when they were backed up. And I thought that could be an issue, but you're 100% right. 100%. David Morales' aunt was the only one who thought we would win. Go Niners. I didn't listen to anyone else. I don't know what anyone else said. But yeah, I think I was out on my own, and that's okay. If anyone else picked the Niners, good to them, because it was one of those weeks that you looked at it and it made you feel like a homer if you're picking the Niners. But I did have faith in Mac Jones. I did. I think that he's an accomplished backup quarterback. And I think he could be a starting 32, right? I mean, if he was on the Bengals right now, they'd be winning football games, not doing what they're doing. Like he's a very solid quarterback. He operates within the system. He takes the reads that are there. He gets rid of the ball on time. He definitely processes. He's only going to get better in this system. 100%. He's only going to get better because right now he's still going through the progressions and the reads, and it doesn't click quickly until you get used to it. Once you get used to it, it's like, okay, I go boom, boom, boom. Oh, the blitz is coming through and bam. And there was even the ball that he had to go volleyball. That was a tremendous read by him. Tremendous. He was going to have a completion out on the sideline. It just got knocked down. You give him credit, but crazy. I like this. Hugo says, I don't bet, but what is a homer? A homer is somebody that always believes their team's going to win, right? I get called a homer because there's times that I believe the 49ers are going to win. Famously, doing the show back in 2021, 49ers season did not look good. All the injuries, everything that was going on. It's the year they won the wild card. And I kept saying, watch out, the 49ers are going to make the playoffs. I was looking at the way the NFC was, and I kept saying, and everyone kept saying, you're a homer. You're just all in on the Niners. You don't keep it real. And guess what? 49ers made the playoffs. So I've been there before. I don't mind. So it's great. I love this from Max. I never had a doubt with Mac Jones. And you know what's crazy is I felt pretty confident in Mac as well. Now, I did have a concern, and I think it was a legitimate concern. The pass rush of the Rams getting to Mac Jones because of, his ability to stay in the pocket. And, they have really Byron Young, and they have Jared Verse, and they have Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner. Like, they have accomplished pass rushers. But honestly, Mac Jones was getting rid of the football. This dude was not playing around. He only took the 1 sack. It was in overtime. That was really when the pressure looked overbearing. There were a couple of times where he got pressure and he just ate it. Oh, I'm going to get it at the guy's feet. He was smart. He was smart. And Reese says this. On paper, there's no way we should have won this game. And that's what I love about football. It's not played on paper, right? Because you're right. You have everybody out, right? How many times did Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels say all the guys who were out for the 49ers? Over and over and over. It doesn't matter. If you execute and you get it done, you have a chance to win. And I absolutely love that. I love that from the 49ers because that's what you're looking for every single time is an opportunity to win. And that's what the 49ers give themselves every single week by the way they go about it. They just find ways to win. Now, if you bet with FanDuel, you had a chance to win. And next week, 49ers were -8.5 this week. Next week, against Tampa Bay, we'll see what that line looks like. But bet with FanDuel. It's a good opportunity for you if that's something that you would like to do. But I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes because I want to talk a little bit about these box scores because I think it's very important to look at some of the things the 49ers did. Over 400 yards on offense. They had 11 drives in this football game, and they had to, accomplish a lot. And I thought that they did. Now, the rushing yards are still not there. I think that's something that they got to get better at. But when it came to it, Mac Jones was so good. 342 yards through the air. And it was Kyle Shanahan, and somebody brought it in chat earlier. It was Kyle Shanahan saying, it doesn't matter if we run the ball or throw the ball, right? It's the Bill Walsh philosophy. A pass is as good as a run. You just have to make sure it's executed. And that is the method that the 49ers are using right now. And that's exactly what you have to do. Defenses are coming in and saying, Christian McCaffrey's not going to run the ball on us. We're going to take it away. We're also not going to allow you to throw those deep crossers that you love to throw, those timing routes on those over patterns. We're going to take those away. And so the 49ers have finally gotten to the point where it's like, okay, check down, check down, check down, check down. And that's exactly what kills it. You pick up 6, you pick up 7, you pick up 8, and you stay ahead of the sticks. And a concentrated passing attack that is consistent is as good as a run game. So absolutely, love their philosophy and what they're trying to do. And it wasn't perfect for the defense either. And the defense made the stops, right, when the game came down the line. But it wasn't perfect, and they struggled. A guy like Marquise Siegel. Marquise Siegel was having to deal with Tutu Atwell, and that's not a matchup you want. And I know Marquise Siegel is a 4-3 guy, but Tutu Atwell is a special athlete. And when you can't generate pressure, sometimes it puts him in some bad situations. But I want to give Marquise Siegel credit because even though he struggled when it came to coverage, he had 13 tackles in this game, 7 of those solo, and 1 pass defense. And the pass defense was in the end zone where he almost got an interception. So I want to give him credit. Fred Warner continues to do Fred Warner things. He had 12 tackles, 7 of those, on his own. You had Alfred Collins getting two solo tackles and a quarterback hit, not to mention knocking the ball out. Those types of plays are huge. You have guys stepping up and young guys, even though they're making mistakes, continue to play well. And I want to bring up another one where you get CJ West, and he didn't really have a big game when it came to making plays, but Jair Brown was barking, and Jair Brown's in his 3rd year, and CJ West comes flying in and pushes him back and says, hey, calm it down. We don't need a penalty right now. Love it. I love to see that. That's what you have to do. Reese says that first couple of drives, our O-line was getting pushed and good rush gains. That was big. It was. In the first quarter, Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense had 6 plays for 7 yards. They were just completely effective on keeping the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands. And that's how you beat a good offense, is with better offense, good time of possession. And that's exactly what they were doing. So, yeah. And Hugo G says, why no love for G31, though? Not even 1 carry. Right now, Kyle Shanahan is employing the Christian McCaffrey. 22 carries for McCaffrey, and a lot of it's because you're missing so many weapons right now. You need McCaffrey's threat of going out for a pass to open things up for other people, his threat in the run to engage the defense. So you can't go to Isaac Rendon. You can't even go to Brian Robinson. I thought 49ers might get up a little bit in this game, and I think if they would have got another touchdown after that fumble by Blake Corum or even a field goal, the next drive probably would have featured Brian Robinson being able to run the ball. But that's why they're not going to Garendo, because they need McCaffrey right now. Maybe once they get the cast of characters back, their wide receivers, George Kittle, there will be more opportunities for Brian Robinson and Isaac Rendo, but not right now, for sure. I don't think it's in the cards because they definitely need, Christian McCaffrey on the field. He draws defense, and you need somebody to draw it because there's not a lot of draws out there right now. Maybe next week Kendrick Bourne will have that happen, but Mr. Corey says, do you think Siegel will play better at free safety when Mustafa returns? I think that's the hope. Right now, I was saying, I couldn't wait for Malik to come back and Malik and Siegel to play together. But I don't think it's out of the question that now, with what's happening to Siegel, and it's not that Siegel's playing bad, he's just a rookie who's inconsistent. He's our best tackler in the secondary for sure, But there's a chance that Jason Pinnock is the one that plays with Malik Mustafa. I think that's a possibility. Just keeping it real. But, I hope it's a different direction because I want Marquis Siegel to keep playing, but you do kind of need it. You do kind of need that to happen. So we'll see. We'll see if the 49ers, what they do at safety, but it will be nice having Malik back because Malik is huge and, he needs to get it done. And Joe says we got that dub. And that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. And Mr. Corey says, Jair Brown hasn't done anything in 2 years to be barking at anyone. Right. I mean, Jair Brown, they keep bringing him in for big nickel. I've seen him come in for Upton Stout, and one thing I'm curious is what they do with Upton Stout next week. Towards the end of this game, even though Upton, he battled in this game, towards the end of the game, they went Chase Lucas. And I think that was the right move. Upton Stout was struggling with some of the movement, some of the motion, some of the shifts, and they were finding openings against Upton Stout with their receivers. They targeted him and they took advantage of him. That's why it was one of my defensive key matchups in this football game was Upton Stout versus Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua. I was worried about it. They even put Devontae Adams there as well because I thought that was an opportunity for them to kind of take advantage of him, and they did. So later on, they went with Chase Lucas, more of a veteran, better understanding of the defense. So, that's one of those things you look at. And so we'll see how that moves forward. If they go back to Upton Stout or if they want to, maybe see what's going on with Chase Lucas. My guess is they'll go back to Upton Stout unless, another team can kind of pick him apart again. And, there's a chance that Upton Stout goes back in. But, maybe they kind of mix them both in. But Chase Lucas was ready. He was ready for the moment. Mr. Corey says, I owe Shanahan an apology for benching Garendo. The fumbled 3 times in one practice and he got put in Siberia. Then he fumbled on the kickoff. Yeah, luckily this fumble, it was called correctly. His forward momentum was stopped and he got pushed back. But that is definitely a concern with Isaac Garendo is the fumbling because, he has had a tendency to put it on the ground. Kyle Shanahan hates fumbles more than anything. And so that's always something. That's why he loved Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell never fumbles the ball. So that's something that's huge. And then we got this right here from Reese. Jake Tunges is getting better each week as a threat and a blocking big step up for both tight ends. Yeah. Right now, the 49ers tight end room, once George Kittle comes back, is not a problem. Their tight end room is good. George Kittle is going to really elevate the run blocking. Also the pass catching, but Jake Tunges is now an effective number 2 tight end. And I've got to give the 49ers a lot of credit for finding him, developing him, and then believing in him last year enough to keep him on the 53, even though he did nothing. But they developed him. They took the time, and now it's paying off. And that's exactly what it had to be. Mr. Corey says, before I go and be honest, Nick Martin with a 3rd round pick or Cam Scattaboo. I'm going Martin because of need. I like Cam Scattaboo a lot. I do. I think he's a physical presence. I liked him at Arizona State. I used to mess around with my friends and tell them that Scattaboo was better than Ashton Genty. So, I have a lot of respect for him. Former Sac State product. That's right up north for me. But I like Nick Martin because Nick Martin is eventually, guys, he's going to be an absolute stud for this football team. And I know he's not helping right now, and that's okay. This linebacker room is loaded. They've got so many talented guys with what they need. And Nick Martin's eventually going to be one of those guys. Don't give up on him yet. I'm telling you, the way he played in preseason, he's twitched up. This dude, when he figures it out, the football part of it, understanding the 49er scheme with his instincts and his speed, he's going to be a problem. Next year, Fred Warner, surrounded by D. Winters and Nick Martin, is going to be crazy. Trust me. This dude's going to end up being a good coverage guy. Like, I have a lot of faith in him, and I don't want to oversell, but I do. I think that he's got a lot of talent, and he could be really, really good. And thanks so much, Daryl, who's been a member for 34 months, using his membership ability to say, Ant-Man, what a gutsy win and a first place in the conference, brother. Absolutely huge. And thank you so much, Daryl, for being a channel member for 34 months. And you're 100% right. Gutsy win. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to, eke these ones out, whatever you have to do. And they're finding ways. And right now, that is a key element to this season. Finding ways to win. Last year, they would have been losses. This year, they're wins. And so it's just so big. So thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to end up checking out. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening audio platform, 49ers Cutback on Believe Network, please give it a 5-star rating. This episode was brought to you by FanDuel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, stay safe. Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.